later than scheduled, for which my apologies, with our Sunday play by Terry Johnson. It's 1939. Dr. Sigmund Freud has recently arrived in London from Vienna. The play opens in his study at 20 Mansfield Gardens, Hampstead. A large, high-ceilinged room plastered in pastel blue. The room is furnished richly, dark oaks and mahogany. French windows lead to a narrow porch, and beyond, a well-kept garden.
If you are waiting for me to break the silence, you will be deeply disappointed. The silence is yours alone, and is far more eloquent than you might imagine. What? Oh. What? Anna.
Yes, Father.
Where's she gone?
Where's who gone?
What time is it?
It's just after 5. It's the middle of the night.
But there was a girl.
Have you slept yet?
I had a patient.
Maybe you dreamed her.
I don't dream patients. I dream surgeons and publishers. What is this thing?
What thing?
This thing in my hand. It's just dangling here. It's got a knob on the end. What am I supposed to do with it?
Shall I call the nurse?
Should I give it a pull?
No, just leave it alone, Father.
Oh, Scheiße! The lights have gone out.
Oh, that.
Oh, that damn thing.
It's a light pull. Ernst put it up this afternoon.
I hate the dark.
You should be asleep.
I know what's in it.
You need more, not less as time passes.
Oh, the body may be, the mind more than ever craves illumination.
Shall I come down?
No, I'm fine.
Good night, then.
Good night. Ah. I have been preparing somewhat unsuccessfully for my death, which Yehuda would have me believe is imminent. I am inclined to agree with his diagnosis, but this morbid preparation is difficult. I have never liked waiting for trains, gazing down the track, ever too anxious to glance in the direction of one's destination. I unfold and refold my newspaper and fail to find anything of interest, even though the headlines roar. Like all the trains I ever caught, this one is running late. And so I wait. I rearrange the luggage at my feet, grow anxious and inexplicably impatient. I prepare, and yet remain unprepared. Because when the train arrives, there will be no time to button the jacket or check the ticket or even to say a meaningful goodbye. So, until my inevitably fraught departure, all I can do is wait and rearrange the luggage. What is that? Go away! Go away! What are you doing in my garden? Oh. This is a private house, not Madame Tussauds, please. You go away! Oh, very well. You stay where you are, you catch your death for all I care. What do you want?
I have to speak to you.
What?
I have to speak to you.
I can't hear you. You go away.
I have to speak to you, or I'll cut my throat.
Oh. Now you stop there, stop. And give me that razor. You're sopping wet.
It's raining.
That rug you're standing on is from Persia.
You told me to stop.
Get off the rug. How did you get into the garden?
I climbed where the elm rests on the wall.
I'll have a tree surgeon do it first thing in the morning.
I've grazed my knee. Look.
What are you, some sort of insomniac student?
No.
You want me to read something you wrote?
No.
Are you inebriated, irresponsible, rich? Is this a dare?
No.
Do you know who I am?
Oh, yes.
But then, what do you want?
I don't know. I haven't yet decided.
Who are you?
Don't you recognize me?
Well, it feels as though I should.
Yes, you should.
We have met?
No, never.
Oh, please, it's late. Who are you?
I am your anima, Professor Freud.
I what?
It's a psychological term denoting the denied female element of the male psyche.
I know what it is.
Denied but desired.
Damn nonsense is what it is. Oh. What did he send you?
Who?
That lunatic Jung, that crackpot friend of the gods?
No.
He didn't. This is his feeble idea of a practical joke.
No one sent me.
Now, due to my advancing years, I am quite prepared to come up against the odd figment of my own imagination, but I have no time for flesh and blood impostors, and I certainly refuse to confront aspects of my personality that I did not even propose. Anima is tosh, and archetypes are theatrical diversion.
I've not read much, Jung.
Not much is too much. How long have you been in my garden?
All night, watching the house, the lights going out. Then one last light, illuminating you.
Well, perhaps you should sit. Here, judging from your behavior so far, you're either dangerously impulsive or pathologically unhappy.
That's true.
Which?
Both, I think. I have inverted morbid tendencies, I know, and a great deal of free-floating anxiety desperate for someone to land on. I am mildly dysfunctional, yes.
You have recently been in analysis?
No, I've recently been in the library.
If you are looking for a doctor, I'm afraid I have to disappoint you. My health deteriorates daily. The few patients I have left will soon be abandoned. I cannot add to my unfinished business.
What if I were desperate?
Oh, there would be no point. I could never conclude. I will give you the name of a good man.
No, it's you I must see.
Then you must be disappointed. I shall call someone to show you out.
Don't do that!
It is very late. Wait. It is half nothing. The other half I left in Vienna.
How careless of you.
It is in a jar of formaldehyde. The surgery was drastic, but advisable.
I think I'd rather die than have a piece of me removed.
Oh, cancer cells develop a passionate urge to replicate. They abandon any concern for the function of their familial organ and strike out to conquer foreign tissue. They undermine the natural state, absorb and conquer. They are the National Socialists of human meat. Best left, I felt, in Austria. Now, you must go.
It's still raining.
Oh, how could you possibly get any better? If you want to get dry, get home.
I have no home.
I must insist. This is improper.
I'll show you improper.
What are you doing? Now, please, I am perfectly aware you wish to gain my attention, but taking off your clothes is highly inappropriate. Now, I shall call my daughter.
How will you explain me?
There is nothing to explain.
Naked and screaming.
Oh, she will understand.
But will the inhabitants of West Hampstead?
You come back inside here.
1 hour of your precious time.
I will not be blackmailed.
Ah!
Oh. Take this coat. Put it around you. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Now you sit there. Sit there by the stove.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
I shall try to help you. But you will please remember that you are in my study, not some boulevard farce.
This isn't your study. Your study was in Vienna.
Who are you?
Is it the same?
Oh, almost. In the Berggasse, it wasn't as simple to walk out into the garden.
Why?
I was on the second floor. And there were many more survivors.
Who?
Well, these clay figures. I was forced to abandon some of them.
Beautiful.
No, don't touch. I crammed as many as I could into rail crates for transportation. Each of them is quite unique, but when they're packed in side by side, they lose their individual identities. Wrapped in newsprint, they become faceless.
Are you in pain?
Yes. Are you?
Oh, yes.
I cannot take you on. I have no time.
It won't take long. I know what's wrong with me.
Oh, self-analysis is rarely successful.
You did it.
I had the advantage of being me.
I've read all your books.
Oh, have you indeed?
Yes.
You understand much?
Most. I didn't much enjoy jokes and their relationship to the unconscious. If you were going to analyse jokes, you might have chosen a couple that were funny. I suspect you've no sense of humour.
Oh, nonsense. Only last week I was taken to the theatre. I have the program here. And I laughed 3 or 4 times.
What at?
I believe it was called, here. Yes, Rookery Nook. English farce has a seductive logic and displays all the splendid anal obsession of the English.
Frankly, some of your concepts are funnier than your jokes.
Oh, for instance?
Penis envy. How, in 1,000 years of civilized thought, anyone could imagine a penis an object of envy is beyond me. Those that I have seen erect and bobbing seem positively mortified at their own enthusiasm. The only one that I ever saw flaccid looked like something that had fallen out of its shell. Ugh. Why? Would anyone envy a squidgy, single-minded proboscis that thinks it's God's special gift to those without?
You say that you have done no analysis?
None.
I think you should begin as soon as possible.
Ah!
No, but no, not with me. Not on my couch. Get up.
Don't pretend you're not curious, Professor. You're longing to know what brought me here. There's nothing you'd like better than to see me barefoot in the head.
You are mistaken.
Please!
If I were to listen to anything you have to say, I would do so only because you are obviously disturbed. And only on the understanding that what we were doing was an assessment pending a referral.
All right.
Very well.
How do we start?
I shall sit here behind you.
I can't see you. That's the point, is it? That's part of it. And silence? Is that part of it too? It is, isn't it? How many minutes of silence must you have endured? I don't know how to begin. I was born in Vienna 29 years ago. I am an only child. My mother was beautiful, and my father was the owner of a small print works. We lived in a tall, narrow house. It was a strange house, as if built by a child, an unsteady tower of rooms like wooden bricks. My father had a bad hip, so he had a room made up in what was the parlour. That was his room at the bottom of the house. Anyway, I grew up, as you can see. You made a note. I heard you scribble. What did you write? What did I say? I see. Should I talk about now or then? Past or present? Both, I know. I'm sure. At which end should I begin? I'm here because I was sent. I wouldn't have come on my own accord. I've been married 2 years, and my husband is concerned for me. He worries about my appetite, which is small, I admit. But I merely eat no more than I desire. My husband also wishes that I spent more time outdoors. I prefer to stay inside. It is merely a preference, not an illness. So, that's why I'm here. It is desired that I eat like a horse and live like one too, in a field if possible. If you could turn me into a horse, my husband would be overjoyed. What has he told you? Sorry. I don't like the outdoors. I don't need 3 enormous meals a day.
How long have you felt this way?
It developed, nothing sudden, nothing... One just becomes happier indoors, less interested in the taste of food. Really, I wouldn't be here at all if it wasn't for my wretched husband.
What is wrong with your hand?
Didn't he tell you? My hand has been examined by specialists. Neither could explain the problem with my fingers.
And what is the problem?
We thought arthritis, but we were assured otherwise. These 3 fingers have grown stiff, you see? They bend at the joints, but they will not move apart. The hand still functions, but it looks so reptilian. It is intensely frustrating.
And there is no physiological impairment?
None, I'm assured. I'm sorry. Can you help me?
No, I cannot.
I'm sorry.
And now it is time for me to go to my bed.
Well, that was hardly a full consultation, Professor. We're barely beyond the symptoms.
I am as aware of the symptoms as you are. As I am aware, the etiology of your hysterical paralysis, as well as the traumatic triggers of your anorexia and agoraphobia.
So soon?
I know these things not because your compulsive behavior is unconvincing, or because I am capable of completing an analysis in less than 10 minutes, but because I published the facts of this case 30 years ago, and you, no doubt, judging by your excellent knowledge of them, read it only recently. Now, I am very tired. Both of your games end of this evening.
Please don't call anyone.
Either you leave this instant, I'll make the whole.
It was a stupid thing to do, and I'm sorry. It's a case history that interests me, that's all.
So, you are a student?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Then your methods of study are most unorthodox.
May we discuss the case of Rebecca S.?
Certainly not. You disturb me. You attempt to deceive me.
Did I?
What?
Deceive you with the gagging and the...
Oh.
Was that how she...
I was very explicit in my description. You were very accurate in your impersonation.
Spooky.
Now, if you have had your fun...
Please, Rebecca means a great deal to me.
You have forfeited any right to my time and attention. Now you may go into the garden and scream or dance with the spring fairies. I care not.
What would Dr. Jung say if he heard you mention fairies?
He'd probably take me down the path and attempt to introduce us. Now go home.
Please.
Not one more word.
I'll go then.
Good.
Could I ask one thing of you?
One thing.
Could you lend me a pair of Wellingtons?
Wellingtons.
My feet are freezing. No, it's too much to ask. I'm sorry. I'll be fine.
You wait there.
No, really, I couldn't.
It's a small price.
A pair of socks would be heaven. Those thick sort of woolly ones. Where does he keep the file? Oh. Here. He must think I've gone. Can I hide in the closet? Yes.
Here are the boots and the socks. Where has she gone? Hello? Young lady? Hello? Oh. I must go to bed.
Where's the light? Oh. Now, let me see. Letters to the police.
But you wouldn't listen
Oh,
to me.
no, I am not here to debate with you.
Just wait.
No one in your family, no friend, colleague, or critic has ever convinced you were wrong about anything. I'm quite happy to be argued into my grave, but I'm not about to be argued into yours. I did you the courtesy of reading this babble. Now, you will do me the courtesy of listening.
I had wondered at your silence during lunch.
Being polite has given me indigestion. We are both old men.
Time is short.
I shall allow your ill health to temper my anger, but not to lessen my resolve. I shall not leave this room until you have agreed not to publish this work.
My friend.
That remains to be seen.
Oh, I see.
The first paragraph made my blood run cold. If Moses was an Egyptian.
If.
You do not mean the if, Freud. None of your ifs are questions. All your ifs are excuses for the outrageous statements they precede. Your proposal is that the man who gave us the word of God, the founder of the Jewish nation, was an Egyptian aristocrat.
A simple reading of the facts.
You deny his origins.
Any intelligent analysis
You
will
undermine the core of the myth.
Myth, precisely.
The symbolic expression
The reflection of an innate desire.
of a basic truth.
It's a perversion of truth, an attempt to satisfy
Moses was a Jew. Moses was chosen. If Moses was not a Jew, then we were not chosen. Deny Moses and you deny us. this time of all times, at this most terrible hour.
I take away our best man.
This is dreadful stuff. It is irreligious, badly argued piffle.
But apart from that, what did you think?
There can be no discussion. You may not publish.
Yehuda, you are a believer, I know, but also a scholar. And you do not believe that the Red Sea parted?
This and that of the event.
Or that a babe floated down the river on a basket?
Lost in the mist, the history. The mystery.
A babe in a basket would have drowned as sure as our nation on the ocean floor.
The myth, Freud. Remove the essence of the myth and you undermine the foundations of our faith.
Have you been talking to that lunatic Jung?
Religion is the neurosis of humanity. You presume to find no evidence of God but in the imaginings of desperate minds, a few sparks in the head.
God is no more light in this darkness than a candle in a hurricane. Eventually he will be snuffed out. But if one man's denial can explode him, then that tiny conflagration would be a light far brighter than the guttering hopes he kindles in us. The death of God would light us not to heaven or to hell, but to ourselves. Imagine that we begin to believe in ourselves.
Damn yourself if you must.
I have to publish.
But remember one thing.
What?
You are not the only Jew who will die this year. Sigmund, are you in pain?
Most uncalled for.
I shall examine you. A man in your condition should be making peace with his God and his fellow man, not denying one and outraging the other. Fetch it down.
There is one in the closet. I have always believed unpleasant or embarrassing truths should not be hidden. So why, at this late stage in my life, thank you, should I have anything to hide?
Know this, Freud. Unless you reconsider, you lose my friendship.
Good God.
Harsh, I know, but there it is.
Get out!
No need to be offensive.
No, not you.
Then who?
What?
You said get out.
Oh, indeed, get out. Your things. Get your things out of your bag and please examine me.
Mm-hmm. Now, open your mouth. Let me see. Now, be certain of one thing. There is precious little I would not do to prevent you publishing. If you had any guilty secrets, I'd hang the Hippocratic Oath and seriously consider blackmail. But not you, of course. Half a century of meddling in other people's passions, countless female patients lying prostrate in front of you, and never a whisper of impropriety. No scantily clad secrets in your closet, more's the pity. Oh, for a scandalous lever to price you off your pedestal.
How?
I'm sorry. That certain things are hidden from us does not deny their existence.
What things?
The minds of man, the face of God. You devote yourself to one invisible thing, yet refuse to contemplate the other. You can close your mouth now. It's as you thought.
Inoperable?
It's very deep now. I'm sorry.
No, if I had a God to thank, I would.
That was me prodding around. A pressure bandage?
Yes, thank you. What have you got there?
My bicycle pump, a puncture repair kit, and an inner tube.
What do you intend doing with them?
Mend my bike, of course. Here it is. Hold still while I tie this bandage. I wish you would consider morphine.
No.
Just a little?
Absolutely not. I would rather think in pain than dream in oblivion.
Oblivion may be precisely where you're headed.
I cannot end with an act of disavowal.
An end in silence?
No!
What?
Don't go into the closet.
I need to wash my hands.
No, please, just use the one across the hall here. That one we use now as a cupboard, you see. So much correspondence, so many books.
Very well. You think everyone but you is a complete fool.
So, you said that you were going. I thought you were gone.
Get rid of your visitor, Professor. We have work to do.
We have no such thing. I have other appointments.
Cancel them.
I said I would arrange a referral.
Not good enough.
No. Will you please come out of there? Very well. You give me no choice.
Here.
I left my bike in the garden. I'll fix the puncture, then I'll be off.
Oh, good.
And you've another visitor. Some Spanish idiot with a ridiculous moustache. Dilly-dally.
Dally.
Doolally by the look of him. If you want a physician's advice, you're not up to it. You should be resting, not entertaining foreigners. Whose is that raincoat?
It's mine.
Is it raining?
Usually.
Looks all right to me.
Oh, the forecast was ominous.
Indoor storms imminent?
Yes. No. A possibility of flash flooding.
I'll bring my bike in here.
No.
Well, I can't mend it in the rain.
It's not raining.
You said it was just about to.
No, I said there was a possibility of some weather. They weren't precise as to which sort.
That raincoat looks awfully small for you.
It shrank.
When the last flash flood came thundering through your study, I suppose.
Why don't you bring your bike through and mend it in the hall?
As you wish, though upstairs might be best.
Upstairs?
To eliminate any danger of sudden drowning.
Now, here is your raincoat. Quickly, please, out of the closet.
If you insist.
No, Henny, you must stay where you are. Put your clothes back on. You must modify this behavior immediately. Throwing a well-looking boot is childish and ineffectual as a form of protest, since I haven't a clue what you are protesting about.
See this letter.
I don't understand. Don't crumple it.
Your garden's infested with snails. I've just trodden on one.
Please don't wheel the bicycle over the rug.
Oh, could you take it for a second?
Yes.
Lie down for the snails.
Yes,
It's covered in them. Where's your boot scraper?
We don't have a boot scraper.
This is England, for heaven's sake. I'll find a stick or something. Look! There goes another one.
Why did you put the letter in the boot? I can't get my arm out. Oh.
Right! What's this woman's slip doing in the garden?
What?
Those bloody snails. Look, here it is. It was in the middle of your lawn.
Oh.
And what are you doing with that boot on your arm?
Oh,
No, it's all right. I see myself. A bicycle, snails, a hot water bottle, a Wellington boot. It's true. What Dali merely dreams, you live. Maestro.
I can assure you, there is a perfectly rational explanation.
He does not wish to hear it.
Who?
Dali.
Oh, of course. Tell your Mr. Dali that I shall see him in just a few minutes.
But he's here.
Ask him to wait.
And there's more of it. Underwear and all sorts.
Well, it must have blown off the line.
But wait, he cannot. He is here.
There is no lie.
I know he's here. I heard you the first time.
Whose is it?
Excuse, but I am he.
Oh, I see.
I'll put it on the compass.
No. Just give it to me.
It's not yours, is it?
Yes. No, it's my daughter's.
Anna's? At her age, she should be dressing for warmth.
So you are here.
He is honored.
Oh, shit, there goes another one.
You will not object.
What?
If I sketch a first impression.
Oh, I see. It's not my bike. And my physician has piles, you see. That's the hot water bottle strapped to the saddle. And as for the snails, they just took a liking to the bike, I suppose.
You have a head like a snail.
Oh, thank you very much.
Has Anna lost a lot of weight in the last week?
Oh, Yehuda, this is...
Dali!
We met in the hall.
You suffer from piles.
How extraordinarily acute of you.
Dali suffers also.
I know. I've seen your pictures.
You do not like the work of Dali.
You want a frank answer?
Always.
I find your work explicitly obscene, deliberately obtuse, tasteless, puerile, and very unpleasant to look at.
Please. Dali has no need of these compliments, but he thank you very much.
I think I'll leave you to it, Freud.
This is the man, the only man who can fully appreciate the genius of Dali's spontaneous method of irrational cognition and his critical interpretive association of delusional phenomena. Wait here.
Dali, where are you going now?
You want some advice? What? Don't let him get on the couch.
The metamorphosis of Narcissus is for you.
Oh.
Now, you tell me, look closely and tell me, from what does Dali suffer?
Eyesight?
It's true! This man is genius.
I'll mend this tire and see you when he's gone. Here, take this underwear.
Oh, thank you.
I'll take my bike. I'm daft if I can imagine Anna in them. In fact, I'm grateful I can't imagine her in them. I'll see you when he's gone.
I'd really rather that you didn't sketch, you know.
A thought, an idea from your head. It belongs to you, but your image belongs to Dali, please.
I must insist. Put your pencil away, please.
I have come to salute you.
No, please don't bother
On
yourself.
behalf of all true disciples of the critical, paranoid school of pain.
Who are they?
Dali, he is the only true disciples.
I see.
You are held in great esteem. We, by which I mean Dali and I, are engaged in a great struggle to drag up the monsters from the safety of our dreams and commit to the canvas. It's you have inspired this.
I am most flattered.
You say to dream and ne'er to search. It's what I do. You say paranoia transform reality to conform with the unconscious obsession. Yes?
Yes.
So, Dali gazes, is turned to stone.
Oh.
But, and an egg. Narcissus flowers from the egg, desiring to be reborn. He only gazes at himself and dreams of death. Life in this state is as unlikely as a flower from an egg. Expressed with mastery technique, an ingenious illusion, of course. And this is what Dali does, and only him. Would you like me to hang him?
Oh, no, please, don't bother yourself.
It's no bother. It's an honor. I put it here instead of this.
No, that is a Picasso.
Picasso's a Spanish. So is Dali.
Yes. You like Picasso?
Picasso's genius. So is Dali.
I much admire Guernica.
Picasso is communist.
Yes.
Neither is Dali.
Oh, you'll have to forgive me for being frank. I am in a certain amount of pain.
Oh, divine.
Distracting. It has been a pleasure to meet you.
No, Dali cannot go. Not so soon. Let me describe to you the painting I have just completed.
No, please.
It's called Dream Caused by the Flight of a Bee Around a Pomegranate 1 second before waking up. It depicts the splitting of a pomegranate and the emergence of a large goldfish. From the mouth of the fish leaps a tiger. From the mouth of the tiger leaps another tiger. From the mouth of this tiger, a rifle with a fixed bayonet about to pierce the white flesh of a naked girl. Narrowly misses her armpit. Beyond all this, a white elephant with impossible legs carries past a monument of ice. Oh, you have to see it for yourself, really.
Again, Mr. Dali, forgive my lack of courtesy.
Please have none.
Oh, very well. I have always thought the surrealist movement a conspiracy of complete fools. But as you had the audacity to elect me some sort of patron saint, I thought it only polite to meet you. But I find now that I lack the energy even to be polite.
Excellent!
No, you
Dali
don't.
has no concern for your health.
No, please.
No desire to be liked and no manners until the moment he dies. He does as he pleases and he refuses to live.
Oh. I don't think I've ever met a more complete example of a Spaniard.
Do you mind if I examine your room?
No, please don't.
But I must. Oh, a snail on your couch. Hello, little snail. Snails Dali likes to eat very much.
Oh, no.
It's not good. What sort of snail is this?
English garden.
It's tasteless. Typical English.
Why are you then in England?
In Spain. Until 1 week ago, Dali paint and this contemptuous of the fascist machine rolling towards. And then he think, no, this is all getting too historical for Dali. Immediately the desire to leave is enormous and acted upon immediately.
Have you any idea when the desire to live here might become at all substantial?
When Dali, being here with you, no longer feels real.
That shouldn't take too long then.
Please, don't waste your precious time trying to analyze Dali. He's completely sane. In fact, the only one.
Oh.
What is in closet?
Oh, no, nothing.
So?
Buenos días, mi amor. Eres hermosa. Sono un genio.
How dare you!
The girl in your closet.
Girl? What girl?
The naked girl.
In my closet? Surely just a figment of your unique imagination.
She kicked me in the phallus.
A merely hallucinatory sensation.
I have pain in the testicle.
Hysterical.
No, it's not funny.
Well, obviously you are at the peak of your imaginative powers.
You think?
Oh, yes, come. Your fantasies had grown so undeniable, they push through the fabric of reality. It is imperative that you return home and you begin to paint at once.
A naked girl in the closet of Freud with the hooves of a stallion. It's good.
It's visionary.
I shall dedicate to you.
Oh, thank you. Goodbye.
The pain is transformed. It's divine.
It's so good to have met you.
The honor is Dali's. I owe you my life. Mwah.
An unintentional gift, I assure you.
Goodbye.
Good morning.
Who was that?
You must get dressed. Here, take your clothes.
No. I cannot leave.
Please, be firm in your resolution.
Dali is firm in his trousers. His pain has transformed his member. Tumescent. Dali is obsessed. The vision in the closet must be kissed.
Oh, no!
Annas? I think not. Give them to me.
The what?
The flimsies?
No, I don't have them.
Aha, but I see them. The garments of the goddess.
Has he met your daughter?
She's a feast, you smell.
I'll do no such thing, but I'll take them. Freud, there's about enough silk here to barely cover Anna's left chin. I intend to confront her with these.
No, please.
And you'd better hope for a positive identification.
Oh, no. Yehuda!
She fills my senses. I must see her nakedness.
No!
I'll see you in a moment.
No, wait. Oh, damn, Yehuda!
Dare you!
Oh, what have you done to him?
I am a defenseless woman, and I refuse to be intimidated by amorous Spaniards.
But he is out cold. His arousal was entirely your responsibility. Should that man sadly regain consciousness, I can give you no guarantee of his behavior unless you get dressed.
Then give me my clothes.
Oh.
What?
I have temporarily mislaid them.
Well then.
No, wait. Here. You take the Spaniard's jacket.
A woman has a right to sit naked in a cupboard without being propositioned.
I would defend your right, but not your choice of cupboard. Here.
Thank you.
All right?
Well, I don't think I'll get into the royal enclosure.
Now, please, stay hidden.
If you swear to give me a hearing.
All right, I swear.
When?
Oh, when Yehuda's gone, I'll give you 2 knocks. All right?
Bloody cold in here. I want more clothes.
All right. I'll get you some clothes. Now, clothes. Dali's trousers. Yes. And their buttocks.
She's never seen them in her life. What are you doing?
I was just removing his trousers.
So I see. You and I have to have a serious chat. He appears to be unconscious.
Exactly, yes. He began hyperventilating and fainted. I'm loosening his clothing.
He breathes through his backside as well, does he?
He was complaining of abdominal pains.
Oh, really?
Most definitely, yes. Indigestion, maybe, but perhaps something very serious. Hopefully a ruptured appendix.
Hopefully?
No, I mean I mean, something worth your while, rushing him to hospital for, but of course not. Hopefully not, touch wood.
What's that?
Oh! That is the sound that he made just before he collapsed.
This man has suffered a blow to the head.
Yes, he was going into the garden, and he hit his head on the door frame.
Has he fainted?
Yes.
Which?
What, both?
That's not possible.
Oh, yes, it is. He was standing on the filing cabinet. He fainted, and he hit his head on the way down.
What was he doing on the filing cabinet?
I don't know. I wasn't here. I was already in the garden.
Doing what?
Chasing a swan.
Where did that come from?
I haven't got the faintest idea, but it could have been the swan that entered the room very aggressively and forced Dali to retreat to the filing cabinet, from where he fainted in terror.
This is a complete farce.
What?
If I heard it on the wireless, I wouldn't believe it.
A farce?
Freud, I do believe you finally lost your marbles. 60 years of clinical smut has taken its toll. Cross-dressing, violent tendencies, and attempted sodomy.
Oh!
I'll keep it quiet, of course. But I don't think you'll be publishing much else.
This is slanderous. What proof have you?
I'll get my bag. When he regains consciousness, I shall find out exactly what's been going on here.
Oh, no.
Open the damn door.
You hurt my elbow.
2 knocks is the signal. Not 1 knock, not 3 knocks, but 2 knocks.
I am not having him in here.
I have got to put Darley back in this closet now. He has been rendered harmless. Just a few minutes, please.
Add it to those you already owe me.
Where is he?
Oh, he left.
He what?
Yes, he went through the garden, over the wall. What a morning. Oh, you were right. I should be resting.
He was only half conscious.
It's a self-induced trance. He uses it to paint.
Rubbish.
Exactly. How's your bike?
What about the woman's underwear?
What?
This stuff?
Oh.
Well?
What did I say last time?
You said it was your daughter's.
Oh, utter nonsense. She's far
Yeah,
too...
I completely concur.
But she is hoping to lose weight. You see, this is a sort of incentive to diet.
What sort of a fool do you take me for?
Oh, Yehuda, the truth of the matter is, the Spanish lunatic came early this morning. We had given him permission to paint in the garden. He brought with him a young lady, a professional model.
It's common knowledge Dali only ever paints his wife.
His wife, yes, she was his wife. The model was his wife, the model. You see, he set up his easel. She unfortunately disrobed, and to save you any embarrassment, they were hurried indoors, and Dali made a pretense of arriving after you.
She's Russian, isn't she? Dali's wife.
Oh, yes, Russian, yes.
Where is she now?
Oh, well, she left much earlier.
What was she wearing?
Oh, I give up. What was she wearing?
Well, not these for a start.
Oh, well, no, but I lent her a jacket and my Wellingtons.
Like the one on your arm?
She only took one.
I see. And then, presumably, she hopped half-naked all the way down the Finchley Road.
Oh, no. She hopped across the lawn to the laburnum bush beneath which she had previously concealed her clothes, and then she left.
Yeah, all right. I believe you.
You do?
I'd believe anything of the godless avant-garde.
Oh.
Now, there's only one more thing you need to explain.
Yes.
What's in the closet?
Absolutely nothing.
Don't give me that. You've been buzzing around it like a blowfly.
Oh, papers. Life's work.
Open it up.
I've mislaid the key.
Open this door.
Scheiße.
Hello.
All right, Freud. Over to you. Let's hear it.
Dr. Yehuda, the truth is...
You wish to speak to me.
That's true.
So, in order for our conversation to happen, you did not leave with your husband.
Who?
Dali.
your husband, Dali, because you wish to speak to me.
That's right. I didn't leave with my husband, Dali. Dali, my husband? Because I stayed behind to speak to Professor Freud, which is why I was sitting in the closet.
Besides, you had a row.
It's correct.
And you hit him on the head.
This is true.
With a swan, presumably.
Okay.
May I ask you a personal question?
Certainly.
What country do you come from?
Spain, of course.
No, not Spain.
No, not Spain. No, Spain. I hate Spain. Spain. Blah.
So?
So, I come from... Russia! Russia! I come from Russia. Russia, that's where I come from. From Russia. Very warm for October, isn't it? Precious little snow.
You don't sound Russian.
Oh? Вермозецкий зацнимчука протинкика зимняя водочка. 2 килограмм свельки и бутылка водка. Да здравствует Великий Советский Союз.
Oh, bravo, that was brilliant.
Freud, be warned. I may be willing to suspend my disbelief this far, but not one step further.
Excuse me, please.
Oh, no.
Dali does not remove his trousers. Why are you wearing his clothing?
Now, Yoda, I can explain this.
Pretty girls remove their clothing for Dali, not verse versa. Give Dali his trousers.
Freud, will you tell me why on earth you are consorting with these lunatics?
Patience, Yehuda.
I've been patient long enough.
No, these are my patients. A couple of mild cases to occupy my mind while I still have one.
I take my jacket. Divine nude. You will pose for Dali, see?
Certainly not. Doctor, my underwear, please. Professor, pass me my frock. Please, it's over there.
Yeah.
But your armpit, it is divine. I must make unto it the graven image.
Freud, I have other appointments. Under the circumstances, you'll have no objection if I take this blasphemous paper with me.
But there are no copies.
What? Your obsessive professional inquiries have obviously led to mild sexual perversion and a serious lack of judgment. You'll thank me for this.
But Yehuda, please.
No buts. On a personal level, Sigmund, I sympathize. But a man of your degraded moral standing has no business publishing anything.
Oh, but I can explain. No.
Professor Freud, I wish to continue the analysis of Rebecca S.
You have seriously damaged my reputation.
Where is your armpit?
Under my arm. You promised we could discuss this.
Oh, the details of the case are fully documented.
Not only by you. Her real name was Miriam Stein. This is the journal she kept of her work with you.
So?
I've simplified what she's remembered of the sessions and selected the most apposite passages. I'd like us to read it.
Oh, I have neither the time nor the inclination.
Please.
What?
To consider my request a professional proposition.
Go to hell.
Your armpit only, name your price.
I am not for sale.
My Venus.
Professor?
Oh, it would be a pointless exercise.
Get off!
On my knees.
I will have nothing to do with it.
Dali will do anything you ask.
Can you read English?
Dali's perfect English. Not I've got your ears.
Very well. Read the passages underlined. We are going to reconstruct one of Professor's case histories. You sit here. When we've finished, you may have 15 minutes to do what you will with my armpit.
It's a deal. I am to be the fraud of the great Freud, yes?
No, I will not tolerate this.
What anxieties are prompting your objections, Professor Freud? Read the passages marked with an F.
But if the professor objects to this worm presuming to embody him, then this Dali cannot possibly...
Look, my armpit.
Beautiful. Refuse you, my darling. And to hell with this man, and his beard also.
Oh, very well. If you insist, get it over with.
From the top of the page.
So... As you speak to me, you will notice ideas will occur that you feel are not important or nonsensical, not necessary to mention. But these disconnected things are the things you must mention. You must leave nothing unsaid, especially that which is unpleasant to say. Maestro!
Concentrate.
Of course.
It's a warm day. I had difficulty getting here. The cab driver was reluctant to raise the canopy. I cannot travel in an open cab. I don't like leaving the house. Walking across a field or a town square is a nightmare. I stick to the hedge or the edge of the wall, but even then there's this constant possibility. A wicker basket just came into my head. Is that the sort of thing? What are you doing?
It's what it says here. I was gently rubbing my breast.
No, your breast, my breast.
You rub the breast of the patient? It's not in the published works you did this.
Oh! She's rubbing her own breast.
Eh?
I is me.
Oh, see. Apologize. Continue.
When I was young, we had a wicker basket. I used to play ships in it. It was a picnic basket. I don't know why I've thought of this, but my mother reading us the story of Chicken Little. A piece of sky falls on his head. Bits of sky falling. I hate the sky. Where the clouds scud. Something I've just remembered. God, it was horrible. I'd forgotten all about it. I'm lying in my grandmother's garden. I'm almost an adult. I'm 19. And she told me that if I lie still, I'll get a spectacular surprise. I remember this now. Suddenly, the air is full of birds, starlings, not just a few dozen, but thousands. A black cloud of starlings, a tattered sky, and those horrible birds are just... I run inside, and the starlings roost in the trees all around the house. And I sit curled up in a cold, dark study in a leather chair, and I listen to the noise of the birds, and my heart's thumping. I'm scared of the starlings. I'm frightened of the birds. Don't do that.
It says this. There was applause.
Oh, give it to me. There was a pause.
Oh, see.
I don't know why, but I'm thinking now of a flame. A small candle flame, and it's burning upside down. I don't understand that. A heavy sky, leaden. I'm afraid of the sky. No, I'm not. It's not the sky, is it? It's that a bird might fly, might pass overhead. Not all those starlings, something far worse. One bird in a blue sky. That's what frightens me, the possibility of a bird.
Are you finished?
No. Later, they discuss her eating disorder, and then she free associates around food and meals. Rules her father had. Dessert, spoon and fork lined up just so. The knife never ever put into the mouth, and eventually, I haven't learnt this bit.
No, please.
Shush!
I'm about 7 years old. My father is giving a dinner party, and I beg to attend. I am on my absolute best behaviour. The candles are lit and the mahogany shines, and I ask my mother to pass the salt. I tip it, but nothing comes out. The salt is damp, so I shake the salt cellar, and the silver top flies off, and the salt pours all over my food and flicks down the table as I try to stop the flow. The guests all look at me. Some laugh. I feel the most unbearable humiliation. My mother brushes some of the salt into the napkin, but the food is ruined. My father's face is chiselled in stone. So, I pick up my knife and fork, and I eat, and I pretend it's all right. I eat until my gums sting and my eyes water. And I run upstairs, I throw up, and I put myself to bed. The bed is cold. I listen to the guests leaving, and I pray my father doesn't climb the stairs. There was a silence. Then you asked Rebecca how often she had intercourse with her husband.
I refuse to participate in this any further.
We leave a few sessions and find...
No, you will leave now, please.
I have to finish this, or I will use this razor.
No.
Help me finish this.
Please, I say something.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Stay where you are.
Just here?
Just there.
It's good. It's very nice just here. No need to move at all. Never.
You give me the treasure.
Let me do what I have to do, and then I swear I'll disappear.
It's good to give it to him. It's better to keep it, though. Wow, it's really nice just here, isn't it?
Sit down. It's a few weeks later, and her gagging has greatly reduced. She has successfully related it to the taste of salt, and thus to the trauma of the dinner party. From there.
I wish you to concentrate on your fear of birds. What thoughts come to you?
The smell of leather, mahogany, the candle flame. Of course. At the dinner party, the candle flames were reflected in the polished wood. They were upside down.
And the birds?
Oh, birds, eggs, boiled eggs, a picnic basket. Sick to death of that picnic basket.
A pause.
I'm eating a boiled egg at the picnic. My whole family is there. My father has refused to undo his collar. It's very hot. He offers me salt in which to dip my egg. I, of course, decline. I'm in my late teens by now, and I think of myself as very demure. I'm dressed in white, and it's my father's birthday. I feel good towards him. I feel he likes me now. He gives me an odd, stiff smile. I'm sure if we were alone, we could talk together now. I wish we were alone. A long way off, a child is crying. A bird flies overhead. My father calls my name, Miriam. I look up and smile. No! It's all over me. My dress, my breast.
What is this?
A bird. It's a filthy bird. A streak of white and flash of green, and it's warm and it's wet and it is on my breast. It's an unspeakable mess. It's birds' excrement.
Relax. You are here. You are safe. He embraces her. It's your line.
He embraces her.
Oh, see. It's allowed.
Yes, it's allowed. Embrace her. Embrace her. Yes. Yes. That's it.
It's all over my fingers and my beautiful new breast dress. All afternoon my fingers feel sticky, stuck together. And all the way home I hide my hand. And my father, all the way home, never once looks at me. Is that how it was, her fit?
It was magnificent.
Is that how it was?
Similar.
And did you embrace her?
Yes.
She says, give me the book. I clung to him to prevent myself falling through the door that had opened up beneath me and through which I had seen that summer day so clearly. And the door righted itself, and I knew it was now my choice to step through and remember whatever I wished. I am so deeply and eternally grateful to this man.
Well, transference is common to all successful analyses.
They all fall in love?
Oh, without exception.
Wow.
And the gift that must be returned is an acceptance of that love, with no love returned, no demands made, and no respect diminished.
You never loved in return?
Of course not.
She felt euphoric at the revelations tumbling from her past, and the symptoms began to disappear. What continued to disturb her were your questions about her intimate affairs. She admitted her distaste for copulation and acknowledged her husband's frustration. But every week you insisted she spoke of these things.
This is indelicate.
We have reached the crucial session.
Whatever confidences you are about to reveal from this poor woman's private reminiscences, I can assure you that no impropriety ever took place between us.
I'm not accusing you.
But you were about to do so.
It's obviously something you feel very defensive about.
How dare you!
I have no intention of making any such accusations.
Well, then what is your point?
One more visit.
Oh, no.
The 7th Things are not good. The gagging has returned, and she finds it impossible to keep any food down. Her fingers are useless, and her wiping tic incessant and exaggerated. She is distraught that in spite of all that she has learned, she is iller than ever.
When she arrived, not when she left.
And she was very angry with you, very angry, and you sensed this, didn't you?
Of course.
And you encouraged her to express her anger, didn't you?
Of course.
And did she? Did she? Did she?
Oh, all right. It's all right. Yes, she did.
I am almost there. I am almost there now.
What page?
All
Which
right.
I don't know.
No, here, come. Please. Just sit here. It's all right.
To help me, please.
She's all right. She will be all right. Rebecca. Rebecca. What is wrong with your hand?
The excrement.
And your breast?
My fingers covered in shit. I know, but I can't. I am still so angry.
Angry?
Yes, angry.
At the bird? What is wrong with your mouth?
The taste.
Describe the taste.
The taste of salt. It's salt. Everything tastes of salt. I am filthy with this shit, and all I can taste is salt.
Associate the taste of salt.
Candle burning upside down, its reflection in the mahogany, the dinner party.
A candle?
Put it out. No, the cutlery.
Now tell me about the candle.
It's in the middle of the dinner table.
No, the other candle.
What other? There is no other candle except the one I am allowed. I hate the dark. My mother allows me a candle. My father thinks it a waste. He will open my door and bark, "Put it out." The door opens. Don't put the knife in your mouth. He opens the door. Put out the candle. The taste of salt. My fingers.
Why are you crying?
I don't know.
I think you do know. The candle is burning.
The candle is burning. He opens the door. He says, "Put it out. Put it. Put it."
That's enough now.
The cat is not upside down. It's me. I'm upside down. My head is hanging over the side of the bed. Put it.
That's enough now, Rebecca.
Put it
No.
in your mouth.
Rebecca, no more now. Here. Here. All right.
She remembered. She remembered. The mess on her breast. And her fingers. And the taste of salt.
Don't cry, please.
I'm sorry, I'll be all right in a minute.
What was this?
She had remembered being raped orally before she was 5 years old.
The taste of salt was the taste of her father's semen. The filth on her breast that she tried to clean off was his. When she woke up in the morning, her fingers were stuck together. She was carried from your study and she slept for 3 days.
And over the next few sessions, she released a great deal of anger and began to examine her feelings of guilt. She regained her appetite and her physical symptoms just disappeared.
She was ecstatic.
Mm.
Can I have the book? For the first time in my life, I am happy. I feel there is nothing now in my past that can throw a shadow over my future. This morning I shall prepare a picnic basket.
However, the events that Rebecca had remembered...
Miriam. Her name was Miriam.
And she and her husband?
Oh, eventually sexual relations were resumed. Which I suppose means I also have you to thank, Professor Freud.
What for?
My life.
She was your mother?
You cured her.
Yes, you have her mouth.
You released her. You enabled her. You were her savior.
It's good. You come not to criticize, but to pay homage.
What do you think, Professor? When I found her journal, I had to come.
I like this. Your mother is cured, and it's a happy ending, yes?
Not really, no.
No?
9 years later, my mother died in the washroom of an insane asylum near Paris. She took a rubber tube they use for giving enemas, swallowed it, force-fed it to herself. The other end she attached to a faucet, turned on the tap and drowned. In case you're still wondering, Professor, that is why I am here.
It's serious now, yes?
Yes.
I go put my trousers on.
I had no knowledge of your mother's death.
That's hardly surprising. Rebecca S. has little in common with Miriam Stein. Your patient was a successful case history. My mother, a suicidal hysteric.
The last time I saw her, she had returned to inform me of her health and happiness.
She was pregnant with me.
Yes, she had, she said, a wonderful year.
1897.
What?
1897.
I get my gas mask. Oh, I must draw the curtains. Yes.
Father, we are going to the shelter.
Oh, I have been thrown out of my home, shunted over Europe, and shipped across the Channel. No further.
It's just down the garden.
I shall soon be spending a substantial amount of my time in a hole in the ground. I don't intend to climb into one while I can still argue the toss.
Very well. But if there are bombs, get under the desk.
Don't be absurd.
Excuse my gas mask. Excuse.
If you would prefer to shelter...
I'd prefer to talk. I don't have many vivid memories of my mother. She never went out. She ate alone. I never took a walk or ate a single meal with her. I don't remember her treating me badly, but nor do I have the faintest recollection of her loving me. My father had her committed when I was 5 years old. I never saw her again. Are you aware of what you did to her? On that final visit?
Oh, she was strong, healthy, and functioning well.
Obviously you had managed to turn her into a horse.
Her symptoms had subsided. Her neuroses were negligible.
And my father could penetrate her whenever he so desired. Thank you, doctor. My wife is cured.
No, not cured, no. But rendered capable, and remarkably so, considering...
What?
That her analysis was incomplete.
Was it? Was it? Look. The Etiology of Hysteria, 1896. In every case, the cause of hysteria is a passive sexual experience before puberty, i.e., a traumatic seduction. This is what you wrote.
Yes,
No equivocation, no trace of doubt. You wrote to your friend Fleece, have I revealed the great clinical truth to you? Hysteria is the consequence of pre-sexual shock. That is what you believed.
Yes, it is.
And you published.
Yes, I did.
You were absolutely certain.
Yes, I was.
1 year later.
These are my letters. What are you doing?
My dear Fleece, let me tell you straight away the great secret which has been slowly dawning on me in recent months. I no longer believe in my neurotica.
What is the point that you wish to make?
1 year later, and you what? You changed your mind?
1897 may have been a wonderful year for your mother, but it was torture for me.
Why?
None of my clinical cases would come to a satisfactory conclusion. My results of my analysis were imperfect, therapeutically and scientifically.
So when my mother returned to tell you of her happiness and my genesis, you took back your blessing?
Previously, I had believed that sexual abuse was the root cause of all her unhappiness, but a year later I knew this was not the case.
You told her that she had never been abused, that her memory of abuse was a fantasy.
That is so.
You told her her father did not seduce her, that it was she who wished to seduce her father.
Oh, that is something of a simplification.
But by the autumn of that year, all the childhood seductions unearthed by your patients, none of them ever occurred.
Now look here. In the unconscious, there is no actual reality. Truth cannot be distinguished from emotional fiction.
So you abandoned them?
I abandoned the theory. It was false and erroneous.
Was it? When you proposed that abuse was the root cause of so much mental illness, you needed the support of the intelligentsia. And instead you were laughed at and reviled. Publishers closed their doors. Anti-Semitic tracts appeared. Everything that you worked for was threatened. Your patients were the daughters and wives of wealthy and privileged men whom you began to accuse of molesting their own children. And then suddenly you decided that you were wrong. How convenient.
Convenient? To have shared a revelation, and then to discover that it was false. All I had to steer myself through that terrible year was my integrity. I have never bowed to outrage or to ignorance.
Had you not changed your mind, the outraged and the ignorant would have crucified you. My own grandfather, whom my mother accused, was the friend or acquaintance of every publisher in Austria.
You are accusing me of the most heinous opportunism.
Yes, I am.
Do you realize how many women retrieved memories of abuse while lying on my couch?
Many.
More than many. You will forgive my astonishment at being asked to believe that sexual perversion was prevalent amidst the genteel classes in epidemic proportions. I was proposing a virtual plague of perversion. It's not merely socially unacceptable, fundamentally unthinkable. Your mother was a hysteric. Her memories of seduction were wishful fantasies based on her unconscious desire to possess her father, his penis, and his child.
How can you believe that?
At the crucial age of seven, yes, if my memory serves me, her own mother dies. She believes herself to be guilty of killing her mother to attain her father. So her development is arrested. Her guilt is repressed along with her desires.
I've read all this.
And years later, she develops hysterical symptoms and the fantasies begin to emerge alongside the memories.
She was not just another case history. She was my mother, and I know
You know nothing! You're obsessive. You're ignorant. Your theories are simplistic. Your motives are malicious. And I've given you quite enough of my time. Thank you.
Why so angry?
I am angry with no one.
Mother, God help me! It's my blood!
What have you done?
Please call an ambulance and alert the hospital. Look, it's my blood. It's coming out of my finger.
Calm down. Have you first aid?
In the door here.
I sit in the closet. I notice on the wall the piece of, nasal mucus fastened to the wall with much exhibitionism. Very old. A previous owner, I'm sure. It's pearly green with a sharp point, which makes a gesture, which is a trumpet call for intervention. It's disgusting. So I take my courage. I wrap my finger in handkerchief and I savagely tear the mucus from the wall. But this hard and steely point like a needle. Look, it's here. It penetrates between the nail and the flesh. All the way down. It's great painful.
I'm sure it is.
It's to the bone.
I'll pull it out.
Please, be careful.
Here, disinfect it with this.
is throbbing.
Be a brave soldier.
Let's go boom, boom, boom. The music of perfidious infection. Ah! It's still there. The pointy part is still deep down. I see through the nail. Get it out!
It's too deep.
No! It will be infected. It's death. Death weighing my hand like ignominious kilo of gesticulating worms.
It's only a splinter.
Is unknown nasal mucus. This finger is swelled. This hand is beginning to rot. Please, get me to the hospital.
No, Mr. Daly, just leave it.
I have it surgically dismissed at the wrist, buried. It decomposed without me.
It's not snot anyway.
It's not?
No, it's not.
See, it's not, is what I said.
It's a bit of glue.
It's not.
No! A drop of wood glue.
Oh, see.
You'll survive.
It's possible. Thank you.
Don't put those letters away. I haven't finished reading them yet.
Your discovery of your mother's sad history has been very traumatic for you. But whatever quest you have set yourself is a hopeless one. I have nothing to hide. Indeed, to hide nothing has been my sole quest.
Then let me have the letters.
Certainly not.
Freud, apologies for this, but I must beg hospitality. Every time I turn on my bicycle lamp, I'm yelled at by cockney plebeians in flat caps and armbands. It's pitch black. I can't get home.
Nor can Mr. Daly and his wife.
Please?
I think it's time Dr. Yehuda was told the truth.
No.
Mr. Daly and I are not married.
But share a common law agreement. It's a changing world, Yehuda.
We met for the first time earlier this afternoon.
A rapidly changing world.
Your private lives are your own affair.
It is true that I'm Russian.
Is it? Oh, good.
And I have been engaged by Professor Dr. Freud to translate some of his letters.
Yes, that's it, precisely.
And the ones you're holding are the ones I haven't done.
Oh.
May I continue?
No.
Why not?
Yes, why not?
Oh, very well, if you must.
Thank you, Professor.
And that, Yehuda, that manuscript, I believe, is mine.
I should have dropped it down a drain. It's a bad time to discourage men from putting their faith in God.
On the contrary.
Have you read this evening's paper?
No.
Then do so. 7,000 Jewish shops looted. 300 synagogues burned to the ground. Babies held up to watch Jews being beaten senseless with lead piping. They are calling it Kristallnacht. Apparently Goering is displeased that so much replacement glass will have to be imported. He said they should have broken less glass and killed more Jews. Have you heard from your sisters?
No.
Sisters?
4 elderly ladies. We have not been successful in our attempts to bring them out.
Don't blame yourself.
It is entirely my fault.
No.
If I myself had left sooner, I would have been more able to make suitable arrangements.
You've done what you can.
No, I do not believe I shall see them again.
They say it is to be the last war. Do you think so?
My last?
You lead us from the wilderness and then abandon us. Why, for the love of God, throw doubt upon him now?
Why, indeed?
Oh, have you finished with those letters?
It couldn't mean that you wish to be doubted, could it?
I wish to be left in peace.
You doubt nothing.
Oh, nothing.
Well, what are you reading, young lady?
Oh, no, she has nothing.
You should read them also.
Yehuda, come. A cigar.
You think of cigars.
Oh, no more lectures, please. I have already smoked myself to death. I do it now purely for pleasure.
This letter's interesting.
Is it?
No, it isn't. Yehuda, leave it. Come with me to the garden. I need some fresh air.
Well, what about the Luftwaffe?
Oh, you think that from 2,000 feet they could spot the butt of an old cigar?
With my luck, they'll recognize you instantly.
What are you looking for?
I don't know. But I think he does.
Please, lift your arm. I sketch you. You owe this.
Oh.
Later, you and I, we have dinner of seafood, crush the complacent shell of crab and lobster, and eat the flesh while still surprised. Then, break into National Gallery and visit the London exhibition of degenerate art, courtesy of Adolf Hitler. And then, tomorrow at dawn, by the light of the sun rising over Primrose Hill, I shall render your armpit through my eyes and into history.
I'm washing my hair.
Heaven to Dali is the depilated armpit of a woman.
Forget it. That's the hair I'm washing. Do you expect to make love to all your models?
Never. Sometimes they make love to one another, but Dali only this he observes.
You don't like being touched, do you? I noticed earlier. It makes you anxious. Makes you squirm.
Please lift your arm.
Do you make love to your wife?
We did this, but no more.
Why not?
The last time we made love, Dali, at the climax of his passion, cried out the name of another.
Your mistress?
No, my own. Gala, she say, is over, and goes fuck fisherman.
Does that bother you?
Gala, I adore, she's everything, but no, I cannot let her to touch me. Always, I hate to be touched.
So do I.
It's true.
Unlike you, I find it very painful.
Touching?
Not touching. I pray I shall not have to live my entire life like this.
Hold my hand. How was it for you?
Wonderful, thank you.
You feel the bones. It's enough sex for Dali. How these ugly millions do this thing to get these gruesome children, all this sucking and prodding and body fluids in and out of one another, I would never understand. Inside a beautiful woman is always the putrefying corpse of Dali's passion.
Have you finished with those letters?
No. Where's your friend?
He wished to be left alone. He is a good and powerful man. It is hard to see him powerless.
It's hard to believe in good and powerful men. It is so often a contradiction in terms.
You give me those letters.
No! You regret nothing.
Nothing. Except perhaps one inadvisable evening at Rookery Nook.
Don't worry, I shan't be in here forever.
Oh, come out! For pity's sake! Just say what you have to say and leave me alone. Oh, Mr. Dali, please, you stop sketching me now. Is that what I look like?
To Dali, see.
But I look dead.
It's no offense. But before you go, one thing you do for him.
What?
To judge the work of Dali, the world is a whore. There's no one can tell me. Only you.
Your work?
Please. You see, if this is no good in your eyes, I have wasted the time of my life. When you look at my paintings, what do you see? Well, you see what I see, obviously, that's the point. But have I caught what we are chasing, you and I? Can you see the unconscious?
Oh, Mr. Dali. When I look at a Rembrandt or a classical landscape or a still life by Vermeer, I see a world of unconscious activity. A fountain of hidden dreams.
Here.
You see. But when I look at your work, I'm afraid all I see is what is conscious. Your ideas, your conceit, your meticulous technique, the conscious rendition of conscious thoughts.
And this... I see.
You murder dreams. Do you understand?
Of course.
I hope I've not offended you.
No. It's just the death of the surrealist movement, is all.
Surely not.
It's no matter, but it's kaput.
What?
You tell me nothing I don't know already. I shall give up the paint.
Oh, no, please, not on account of
No.
me. Oh, you must continue.
No.
No!
But...
All right, I shall continue. You and me, we know a shit. But the world is a whore. She will buy the shit. I shall buy a small island.
Could you spend the rest of your life pursuing something you no longer believed in?
Oh, yes, no problem.
I'm ready. I have it now. 1897. Who can tell me what is odd about this sentence? Those guilty of these infantile seductions are nursemaids, governesses, and domestic servants. Teachers are also involved, as are siblings. Well?
Give us a clue.
If you like, another letter. The old man died on the night of October the 23rd, and we buried him yesterday. This was your father. His death has affected me deeply. By the time he died, his life had been long over, but at death, the whole past stirs within one.
You give those to me.
No. Nursemaids, governesses, servants, siblings. No mention of fathers, Professor.
I have had enough of your inquisitive meanderings.
I need look no further. I know why you changed your mind. Another letter to Fleece, justifying your decision, pleading your seduction theory would not stand up because, in every case of hysteria, the father, not even excluding my own, had to be blamed as a pervert. Not even excluding my own.
My father was a warm-hearted man, possessed of a deep wisdom.
And?
I loved and respected him.
And?
This is preposterous.
An earlier letter. I have now to admit that I have identified signs of psychoneuroses in Marie. Who was Marie? Marie was your sister.
No, the error into which I fell was a bottomless pit which could have swallowed us all.
Perhaps it should have done. You suspected your father.
That is quite enough.
Your family leave for the summer. You stay alone. You embark on your own self-analysis.
Those letters are private.
Analyze this sentence, Professor Freud. Not long ago, I dreamt that I was feeling over-affectionate towards Mathilde.
Oh, no.
My eldest daughter, aged 9. But her name was Hella, and I saw the word Hella in heavy type before me. Hella means holy. You desired what was holy to you.
There was no desire. The dream fulfilled my wish to pin down a father as the originator of neurosis.
Then you admit you suspected.
No, my wish to do so. I suspected nothing.
But your father dies condemned, and you discover with horror your own complicity in such desires. It is no wonder you chose to denounce your theories.
I had no choice.
Other than denounce your own father, other than denounce yourself.
No! This is a great man, and you, Miss Prissy, kiss my armpit. Tight-heart girlie, say these slanderous things no more.
It only remains for me to make my findings known.
To whom?
I believe Dr. Yehuda may lend a sympathetic ear.
No, you come back here.
Dr. Yehuda!
She's cast aspersions on integrity of all great men.
Please stop her. Bring me the letters.
She's need to have her head examined. I will catch her.
I mislaid my gas mask. Did I leave it in here?
Oh, no, I've not seen it.
Or maybe on the porch.
No. I think I saw it in the hall.
I looked in the hall.
I look with you.
What's that?
It's a bomb.
Bomb?
Unexploded so far. I suggest we take immediate refuge.
In the shelter?
No, under the stairs. Here.
Get the fuck?
You think it is Sally? You build it in the greenhouse. No! You must learn the respect for betters and olders and men who struggle in the mind like a silly girl could not begin to do. This rope is swing from the tree. You want to give me papers and shut up? and be good girl, or I am fearless with you. Ah! Don't hit the head. It's full of precious stuff. Oh, that phallus is 4,000 years old.
Dr. Yehuda!
All right. What do you want?
Oh, no, nothing.
Not you.
Oh,
I heard shouts.
for the warden. There's a large unexploded bomb in the greenhouse.
I need your help, Yehu!
There you see.
No. Our local warden is Mr. Yahoo.
I distinctly heard my name.
Oh, no nonsense. It's all in my head. No, I mean your head.
Was that a Freudian slip?
Certainly not.
Dr. Yehuda! Dr. Yehuda, there is something you must know. The theory of infantile sexuality.
This woman has turned violently psychotic. In extreme cases, I'm afraid, only extreme methods will suffice. In this instance, the gas mask.
Please to calm down, like a good little girl should be seen and not heard.
She seems to have something to say.
Everything she says is complete nonsense.
As is everything you write.
Yoda, a man's words are his legacy. They should not be censored or destroyed. They should stand in their entirety. It has been a very stimulating afternoon, but I must ask all of you, please, to leave. The door has turned to rubber. How you do this?
I will not be silenced.
Then I shall call the police.
I shall go to the papers. The world will know what I know.
The phone turns into a lobster. It's fantastic.
What the hell is going on here?
Don't look at me.
Everything is fine. But I reluctantly must bring this evening to a close. Come this way, please.
What was that? The clock is melting.
It's the camembert of time and space, no?
Dr. Yehuda, you have to listen to me.
No, Yehuda. You and I are flesh and blood. Please don't listen to her. She's just a figment of my imagination.
Then I shall go too and find someone willing to listen.
No, I am getting the hang of this now. You are nothing more than a neurotic manifestation.
Of what?
Of a buried subconscious.
Guilt.
You don't exist now. You get out of my head, my house.
Back in the closet and there to stay.
Let me go.
I bring her back.
No, Dali.
It's no problem. I have her on the end of this rope.
Just let her go.
You and me, we sort these women out once and for all.
No, please.
Come here, you hysterical bitch.
No, please, don't do this.
Papa?
Who is this naked woman? How she get on end of rope?
Oh, no, please.
It's fantastic, but is who?
Matilda.
Papa.
Matilda, bella Matilda. Oh, my Matilda. Oh, no.
It's the most desirable.
No, don't touch me, Matilda. I never even imagined that
Papa?
No, leave me alone!
It's a dead man, no?
Sigmund.
No. Oh, Gott.
Es ist die letzte territoriale Forderung, die in Europa zu stellen habe. Aber es ist die
Deeper than cancer, the past. And of all the years, the year I looked into myself is the year that has been killing me. In the months of May and April, one by one I hunted down my fears and snared them. Throughout the summer, mounted, pinned, and labeled each of them. In October, my anger, for the most part, I embalmed. And in December, I dissected love. Love has ever since been grey and lifeless flesh to me. But there has been little pain. The pain is for the most part past. I chose to think, not feel.
Better now?
Am I dying? See. And all this.
Don't blame me for this. It's nothing to do with. I tell you already, surrealism is dead. Besides, it's impossible to understand.
And what about you?
Dali? It's true, he visited you. This was 2 months ago. He looked at the death in your face of Freud. He understands how many things were at last to end in Europe with the end of your life. But apart from this, he visits and nothing happens much.
And Yehuda?
Many Jews.
And that woman?
She's nothing.
She...
Please.
But she...
So... Dali visits. Freud remembers. Sleeps. Good night.
Professor.
Were
you sleeping?
No, I don't believe so.
I'm sorry I got angry.
Oh, to get angry is most necessary.
But people get hurt.
If the anger is...
Children get hurt.
Appropriately expressed, no one gets hurt.
Do you still insist my mother was never molested by my grandfather?
No, she was not.
Well, that's a remarkable thing.
Why?
Because I was. And please don't suggest that I imagined this. He was no beloved, half-desired father to me. He was a wiry old man who smelt of beer and cheese and would limp to my bed and masturbate on me. Only once was it an unexpected thing. And once he whispered, if I told my father, he would do worse to me with this razor. My mother knew what he could do. If she were not there to listen for the door, the creaking stair. That's why she protested at being sent away, and so fierce and vehement her protest. Sent away she surely was. What was it you remembered in your self-analysis, Professor, about your father?
What is more relevant is what I could not remember.
Have you no feelings?
I chose to think. And if now I am not so much a man as a museum, and my compassion just another dulled exhibit, so be it. All I have done, what I have become, was necessary to set the people free.
Dead already.
Oh, a few bats hang in the tower. Fear. The odd rat still scampers through the basement. Guilt. Other than that, the building is silent.
Liar.
Oh, I hear nothing.
You heard me.
Oh, nothing.
Listen harder. What? What is it?
The exhibits are screaming.
Goodbye.
I don't know your name.
Jessica.
Jessica, God is looking.
Goodbye.
Jessica. The young may speak what the old cannot bear to utter.
Because I can articulate these things does not mean that I am able to bear them.
Yehuda.
Right.
You will remember that you promised to help me when the time came. It is torture now.
Have you spoken to Anna?
She will understand.
Yeah. Roll up your sleeve.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you, my friend. Yehuda, in the drawer.
Yeah.
There are some letters to Fleece.
I have them.
And the one on the top.
Yes.
You take a pen, use ink. Yes, you see the phrase, in every case of hysteria, the father?
Yes.
Yes. So, from the word father, delete for me, please, 5 words. Not even excluding my own.
Done.
It is illegible.
Gone.
Oh. Oh, thank you.
I shall repeat the dose in 12 hours if necessary. Whatever is required. You may hallucinate. Don't be afraid.
Oh, heaven. Also, gut. What is the time? If you are waiting for me to break the silence, you will be deeply disappointed. The silence is yours alone and is far more eloquent than you might imagine. Oh, where is she? Oh.
Hysteria by Terry Johnson. Henry Goodman played Freud, Phoebe Nichols, Jessica, Tim Potter was Dali, and David de Keyser played Yehuda. Other characters were played by Imelda Brown. Hysteria was directed by John Adams and was produced by Andrew Welch for Armada Productions. Well, next week's Sunday Play is a new production of Sebastian Barry's The Steward of Christendom. That's next Sunday evening at 7:30.